In this video, we're going to be identifying the vertex of a quadratic function. We're also going to describe the graph of our function. So our example here is to describe the graph of f of x equals 2x squared plus 8x plus 7 and to identify the vertex. So we're going to start first by identifying our vertex. And to do that, we're going to need to take our equation, because right now it's in general form, which is our ax squared plus bx plus c. And we want to turn it into standard form, where we have our h and k. And to do that, we're going to start off by completing the square. So to do that, we're going to take our 2x squared plus 8x plus 7 equals 0, and we're going to move our 7 over. So therefore, we're going to have 2x squared plus 8x plus leave a space equals, equals -7. Then we're going to divide everything by 2. We could have divided by 2 first as well, and then subtracted over our 7/2. Either of those steps would have been fine to do first. So now we have x squared plus 4x. Now we're going to put our plus leave a space in, equals -7 over 2 plus leave a space, because whatever we do to the left side, we have to do to the right side. Now we're going to take our b value, which is the 4, and we're going to divide that by 2. And that's going to give us, well, and then we're going to square it. So we're going to have a 2 squared, which is a 4. And so we're going to take this 4, and it gets to go into both of these spots, into our leave spaces. Then we get to write this portion right here as a square. So we're going to write x plus something squared. And really, we know it's a plus because of this right here. That's a plus 2. And so we're going to put plus 2 in here. And let's see, we're going to have that set equal to whatever our negative 7/2 plus 4 is. And that's the number that's going to come right there. And so if we take -7/2 and we add 4 to that, we're going to get the value 1/2. Okay, and then from here, what we're going to do is, remember how we had to divide by 2 up at the beginning? Because we're almost in standard form right now. But remember, we had to divide everything, both sides, by a 2. So we need that 2 to come back because it's part of our multiplier. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. And that's going to give us 2 times x plus 2 quantity squared equals 1. Then to finish putting this into standard form, we are going to subtract our 1 over, and that is going to give us 2 times the quantity x plus 2 squared minus 1. Then from here, remember, our vertex is our h comma k. And so we'll come over here and we'll take a look, and we see that we've got an h and that we have a k. And so we can say that our vertex is at the point -2, comma, -1. Now I want to point out really quick that the reason that we know that our h is a -2 and not a +2 is because when we look at standard form, so we can make this a little bit easier to see, we're supposed to have a minus sign in there. And we didn't have a minus sign in our problem here. So that means in order for that to be a plus sign, the 2 is actually a -2. The h value is actually a -2. So then from here, we can use what we know looking at our standard form. For example, we know that 2 is in our a spot. And so that 2 tells us that we're going to have a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. Our h value is a plus 2, and so that tells us that it's going to move to the left 2 places. And our k value is a minus 1, so that tells us that we're going to go down 1. So that's what our graph is going to look like. And we can check this by graphing it. So if we pull up our graph here, and we see our parent function in the blue spot, and we have our equation here in the y2 spot, in the red spot, and we hit graph. Let's try that one more time. We hit graph. We see that the blue function is our parent function, and the red one, we see that we have a vertical stretch that's been pulled up, so it's skinnier by 2. It's moved to the left 2 and down 1. And so we see that what our description was correct. And so we have our vertex, and we have our description, and so we are finished. The big thing to remember is you need to make sure that if you divide by a number, that you have to multiply at the end by that number to both sides as well to make sure that you're carrying all the factors over.